Well, interesting testimony there, Junior, particularly when asked, as you've just mentioned, about whether or not she thought the idea of disbanding this team was a good one, saying no, it was destructive and, of course, counterproductive. But, of course, I'm joined now by Willem Els from the Institute of Security Studies. Willem, thank you so much for your time. I want us to start by taking a look at the allegations that brought us here. They were brought by a man who you know very well, who you've worked and you've also trained. Some are saying, the manner in which these allegations were brought forth, shouldn't have been done in this particular way. But when you watched that briefing on the 6th of July, was it right up his alley?
Good afternoon to you. Yeah, I got to know him as a go-getter and a straightforward, no-nonsense police officer. And throughout his career that I was able to work with him for some periods. The last time I worked with him was in 2012 when we were deployed to Equatorial Guinea as part of a task team to help him, and he was the commander of that. So I saw him as a man of integrity, but also someone who is straightforward. For him, it's black and white, it's right and wrong. And I think against that backdrop, what pushed him to that interview or to that press conference is because I believe that he could not side with wrong and he had to do the right thing according to him.
Let's now go into the testimony that we heard today from the head of the NPA, in KwaZulu-Natal. And I'm asking you, because I know you're a former police commander, she pretty much gave us what would be the markers of these political killings and the people that would be involved. Essentially saying that the success of this team would have been as a result of putting resources together, but most importantly, ensuring that this was a prosecutorial-led strategy in trying to break the back of what would also have elements of a syndicate.
Yeah, I think if you look back as far back as the early 2000s, the police embarked on this multi-disciplinary task teams to investigate complicated cases. And we see that is the case in the PKTT. It's a multidisciplinary task team, and also what is very important, on that multidisciplinary task team, we refer to it as either prosecutor-guided or prosecutor-led investigations. And that doesn't mean that the prosecution is now dictating to the task team. The task team is actually doing their work, but every morning or every second morning, depending on how they work, they will come together and they will be on the same page. The prosecutor will then investigate and will see, okay, here we are lacking or there's a gap, and they will advise them on how to strengthen the investigation by further testimonies or looking at further things. And that, at the end of the day, as they are building this case, the case is getting stronger and stronger, and it doesn't only land up on the table of the prosecutor towards the end of the investigation.
She also paints a picture of, different, units or arms of the state working in silos, which contributed to the slow pace at which cases were being prosecuted, investigated, ultimately really getting us to a point where it was attributed to the low success rate. Talk to us about the benefits of putting together such a team in order to expedite things and get them moving.
Yeah, I think, if you look at the detection rate, just look at the detection rate of all your criminal cases in South Africa, the detection rate is about 12.5%. So that means 12.5% of all the cases actually end up with a conviction and imprisonment or a verdict on that. So if you go to robberies, it's even lower, it's 9%. What they mentioned here is they mentioned in excess of 50% success rate. And that just demonstrates to you that the method and the methodology that's been used by this task team is working.
And ultimately, things start moving. There's a success rate because of the manner in which they've put together all of these resources. But the impact of this decision is seemingly what is at the heart of her testimony, that when you remove those dockets, it seems as though there is no case really to work on. Ultimately, you return them, but those structures, some of them that were put in place in the NPA, are no longer there. So whether the work continues or not, the impact is there.
Yeah, of course. You know, it's all about momentum. If you are investigating this docket and every day working on it, you build up momentum and you are starting to investigate and you're starting to get to the crux of it. The moment you remove those dockets, you break that momentum. And in breaking that momentum, it causes a lot of things. First of all, it can jeopardize your witnesses can be intimidated more. The witnesses can be killed, as what happened in one of the incidents here. Your witnesses that are witness protection might change their mind. Your Section 204 witnesses might also change their mind. And so there's a lot of implications that come in when you delay the investigation. And that is what happened when they removed the dockets away from the team.
And quickly, we've run out of time. I just want to get your overall impression of her testimony.
Well, I think she was well structured. She was well prepared. On the one hand, she did not corroborate the allegation of General Konazi about the prosecutors that withdrew cases or did not succeed in the application of bail. But on the other hand, when she was asked if she were consulted prior to the minister's decision to disband it, she was definite and said, no ways, I would not have consulted because it was effective and it was working.
Willem Els from the Institute of Security Studies there joining us, talking to us really about, the testimony that we heard today. But this is someone, Thabo, that has also known and has worked with General Madlanga Commission, saying that, what we saw on the 6th of July was right up his alley.
That's Linda Mnisi. Thanks for your intervention this afternoon. He is live for us there at the Madlanga Commission. Well, still